You can own a beautiful home, have hundreds of thousands in equity, and still feel broke every month. That is the strange part of the house-rich, cash-poor trap. On paper, you are wealthy. In real life, the grocery bill still wants cash. House-rich, cash-poor means too much of your net worth is trapped in your primary home, while not enough sits in flexible assets. The house may be valuable, but value behind walls is different from money that can handle life. This trap feels normal because homeownership is treated like the default wealth path. Buy the best house you can, stretch now, grow into it later. But stretching into a home can quietly mean shrinking everywhere else. In Australia, housing is a huge part of household wealth. ABS data shows residential land and dwellings often drive changes in household wealth. ACOS and UNSW data has shown owner-occupied housing alone accounting for a large share of household wealth. The problem is not that home equity is fake, it is real. The problem is access. To use it, you usually have to sell, borrow against the house, refinance, downsize, or rent part of it out. None of those feel like reaching into a normal savings account, and the debt side matters. RBA lending rate data for May 2026 shows average owner-occupier housing rates around 6.2%. At that level, a large mortgage can absorb income before your other goals even get a vote. This is where the squeeze begins. The mortgage gets paid first, then rates, insurance, utilities, transport, groceries, school costs, repairs. By the time investing appears, the paycheck is tired. Opportunity cost means every dollar locked in the home cannot do another job. It cannot sit in an emergency fund, it cannot buy an index fund, it cannot reduce work stress. It cannot diversify away from one suburb, one property, and one housing market. Imagine two households with the same net worth. One has an extra $200,000 trapped in the home. The other has $200,000 split between cash, retirement, and broad investments. Same spreadsheet. Very different stress level. The repair bill test exposes the trap fast. A roof leak does not accept home equity. A broken hot water system does not care that the suburb went up. Ownership gives stability, but it also sends invoices. A common rule of thumb is to budget around 1% of the property value each year for maintenance. Some years are quiet. Then one year the house remembers everything at once. Bigger homes also create lifestyle pressure. More rooms want furniture. More yard wants maintenance. Better suburb wants better everything. The purchase price is only the opening sentence. There is also concentration risk. If most of your wealth is one property, your financial life depends heavily on one asset, one location, one interest rate cycle, and one employment situation continuing to cooperate. To be clear, this is not anti-home. A home can buy stability, control, community, school continuity, pets, renovations, and the peace of not asking a landlord for permission. Those are real benefits. The difference is whether the home supports your financial plan or consumes it. Healthy homeownership leaves room for repairs, cash, investing, and life. The trap requires every good month to go perfectly. Build a liquidity ladder before racing to pay extra into the mortgage. 1 month buffer, repair fund, offset or high-interest cash. Retirement contributions, broad investments, then extra mortgage payments can make sense in the right order. For some homeowners, an offset account is a useful middle path. The money reduces mortgage interest while staying accessible. It is not the same as investing, but it can be a powerful bridge between debt reduction and liquidity. One hidden cost of overbuying is delayed investing. If the house absorbs every spare dollar for 10 years, your portfolio misses the decade when compounding could have been quietly learning to walk. This is how people reach later life with a paid-off home and still feel nervous. The house is valuable, but the income stream is thin. Downsizing may help, but only if the market, timing, family, and emotion all cooperate. The balanced household does not reject property. It refuses to let property be the only pillar. Home equity for stability, cash for shocks, retirement for the future, investments for flexibility. Skills and income for resilience. Before buying, run the overbuying test. Could you handle a rate rise, a 1% repair year? One income dropping, 6 months of buffer, can investing still happen? If not, the house may be too loud. The home equity illusion is this. A rising home value can make you feel richer while your monthly life gets tighter. Paper gains are comforting. Cash flow stress is physical, and selling is not a simple button. There are transaction costs, taxes in some cases, agent fees, moving costs, timing risk, family disruption, and emotional attachment. Illiquid wealth is still wealth, but it moves slowly. If you are already house rich and cash poor, do not panic. Start by pausing upgrades. Recheck the loan, build a repair buffer, separate bills from spending, protect income. Then direct new money toward liquid assets until the household can breathe again. Tonight, write 5 numbers: home equity, cash, investments outside the home, mortgage rate, estimated annual repairs. If the first number is huge and the next 2 are tiny, you have found the imbalance. A home can be one of the best parts of a financial life. But it should not be the whole financial life. The goal is not to hate property. It is to make sure your home gives you stability without swallowing your flexibility. Build the house, but also build the cash, the portfolio, and the options around it. Subscribe to this channel for more clear money steps like this.